Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first ever live fan friction. Woo! We have to cheer for ourselves.
Woo!
We don't have any background music. Woo! So we're here today to take some internet super fans of movies and television and debate it out for some of today's hottest topics in the movie world. Let me introduce our panel today. First, he's a film and television fanatic, conventions enthusiast, and the #1 fan of the film The Janitor. All the way from deep in the heart of Texas, please welcome Raul Rodriguez.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Also representing the Lone Star State, she's obsessed with anything TV, film, and media related. She's the editor for D3 Adventures. Please say hello to our favorite school marm, Ashley Davis.
Hello.
And our next fighter joins us all the way from the wilds of New York, a comic book, television, and film aficionado. He's the man who put together our logos and intro video, so please welcome and thank Tom Bennis.
Hello! Oh, nobody claps for me. All right, guys.
Sorry, Tom. And finally, on our checker chair, please welcome, I have a thing to read for this, excuse me. And manning today's checker chair, he is a physical media hoarder and proclaimed credible nerd. All the way from Ohio, parts unknown, please welcome the beast from the east, Brian Hurst.
Oh, so glad to be here, guys. I can't wait to call out all your lying.
Brian's monitoring our Twitter feed today, so if you'd like to tweet us out live, we will be watching This Is TUFF, that's TUFF. You can find it down in the description below, so if you'd like to tweet at us, Brian will mention you during the in-between round portion, so definitely get involved. And if you've never seen this type of format before, we're going to play 5 rounds of movie combat, where we ask questions of our panel and they will debate it out, choosing one winner at the end of each round. And then after 5 rounds, the 2 people with the highest score will move on to the lightning round, where they will battle it out super fast to see who is today's fan friction champion.
Woo!
Thank you. I was like, this is a perfect time for some more fun.
Maybe a laugh track or something.
I know. We'll add that. We'll add that in future fights if this doesn't suck. All right, everybody. So we're going to begin with round 1. We call this round Topic Thunder. Thank you very much, Apollo Creed. Topic Thunder is our first round. This is where we take today's movie news and we fight out a question. And today's question is, Star Wars The Force Awakens just came out on Blu-ray. Which Star Wars original trilogy cast member should die next? And we're going to start with Raul Rodriguez.
Oh, okay. My choice will be Chewbacca.
And you want to say a few things about Chewbacca before we go on?
Oh, yes. I think that everybody says that there's going to be Leia because it's the logical thing because Han Solo died in Episode 7. But I think we need to develop more of Leia. And also Chewbacca is going to be really hurt because Han Solo just died. And also I have like a little story around why Chewbacca needs to die in the next episode.
All right. Well, then let's go to Ash, and then we'll come back to that. Ashley, who'd you pick?
Just kind of very interesting to hear Raul's reasoning for Chewbacca because I actually chose Leia to be the next character to die, and I think I have some kind of similar counterpoints to what he's going to say about why she should be the integral character to kick it.
All right. And then Tom, who did you pick?
I think it's a little too soon just to kill off another character, but I got something for you. It's the Millennium Falcon.
Oh.
All right.
And I'm interested to hear.
Tom, why don't you start the fight?
Me? All right. So last film we had Han Solo's death, which came as a shocker to everyone.
And a spoiler alert to anyone who hasn't seen Phantom Menace.
Hey, fair warning. So J.J. Abrams went on pretty much script as to say that the reason that Han Solo died was to make Kylo Ren look more menacing and evil than Vader, because how do you make someone look more interesting than Vader when just introducing them? So and he was completely successful in that. But I feel like we shouldn't just jump to another character. Instead, we should look at another thing that's like a token of our past, something that made the original Tridge what it was. It was a ship with character. It was a hunk of junk filled, a folk legend. It was Luke's magical portal to his adventure. So much history has happened there, and it has all the quirks as a regular character would have. And I think that's where I'll pass the torch.
Okay.
Actually, or Raul, what do you guys think?
Oh, okay. First, destroying the Millennium Falcon. One of the things that the Millennium Falcon was back in Force Awakens in this new trilogy is because everybody was with the nostalgic feeling of the Millennium Falcon. So why you wanted to destroy it? And also, it's a representation of all the fandoms coming together, because everybody that saw the original trilogy back in the 70s and seeing throughout a lot of generations.
I would agree with that point, except there was no mention of the original or the Millennium Falcon in the prequels. If there was a ship that tied all of the films together, I'd be down for it. But everything, BB-8 is a new droid for a new generation, and we had fun with the Millennium Falcon. We got into some crazy situations, as the Millennium Falcon does. But we should see a cool ship for a new generation.
But like you said, it's like passing the torch. When Han Solo died, technically he passed the torch to Rey, because Rey now is the new captain. And also Rey, she's going to have the Millennium Falcon throughout the next
I never heard that conversation. Did she land with the...
When Han Solo is with Rey and says...
And offers her a job? That's different than being like, why don't you captain the Falcon? Chewie would obviously get the Falcon.
But technically,
and we can do our deaths together. Chewie can go out in a blaze of glory.
Okay, and also for me, I said that Chewbacca needs to die because he's already feel broken. He doesn't know if he needs to kill Kylo Ren or not, because maybe there's a backstory. Maybe Chewbacca take care of Kylo Ren when he was little, before he got dark. And also for me, I would want that in Episode 8, they said that Captain Phasma is going to have like a bigger role. I think that Captain Phasma will try to hunt down Finn. And also, I'm not going to put out that Chewbacca is going to stay in the island with Rey and Luke. Chewie is going to leave. He's not going to stay there during the training.
And he's going to take the Millennium Falcon with him, huh?
He's gonna take the Millennium Falcon, but the Millennium Falcon is gonna be taken by another man, another person. It's gonna be taken by Poe Dameron, because Chewbacca is gonna find Poe Dameron, and Poe Dameron says Finn just got kidnapped by Captain Phasma. So it's gonna be like a car chase between the whole galaxy, hunting down Captain Phasma and Finn. And when finally Chewbacca saves Finn, Captain Phasma kills Chewbacca, and also when Chewbacca is dying, he's seeing the friendship, the new friendship that's gonna revitalize the freedom of the galaxy with Poe and Finn, and so he's gonna die honorably, and also he's gonna give a cool badass moment to Captain Phasma.
What did Chewbacca ever do to you, man?
Hey,
I know, right?
Is this Who's Gonna Die or Pitch Episode 8?
It's Who's Gonna Die.
Let me hear what Leia has to say.
I'm saying it has a meaning. That's why I said that's why I would want to be like that.
No, it was a good pitch, Raul. Nobody's slamming the pitch. It was good.
He lost.
Yeah, I almost cried.
So let me say about why Leia should die.
Yes, let's hear what that says.
I didn't tease it at the beginning, but it really does pain me to kill her off, because we do have so few female characters in the franchise. But trying to pick from the original characters, like, okay, whose death would have the most impact versus the least impact? And I think that because Leia has been integral to this rebellion and resistance pretty much throughout the whole original trilogy, I think her death will have a lot more impact, because like the rebellion is losing their figurehead. We can see how this death is going to impact Luke, who's just been brought back at the very end of the movie. How is that going to impact how he trains Rey? How is that going to affect whether or not he stays on the light side? Could that impact him to go towards the dark side, maybe, like it was teased kind of in the original pitch for Return of the Jedi, there was a possibility of his character going to the dark side. And plus, with Chewie's death, I don't think that would have as big of an impact on the story. I think it would be much better for his character to have some growth, to see how he deals with the death of Han Solo versus just kicking him off because his companion's gone.
I agree with Ashley. I against Chewie's death.
Like Ashley, you said that Leia, she's one of the few females in the galaxy. There's not a lot of female characters in the new trilogy. It's gonna be Rey and Leia. And those are the only principal characters in the trilogy. But in this new trilogy, so if you kill Leia right quickly in episode 8, it's not gonna have a lot of meaning because you're gonna see Kylo Ren struggling because he already killed his father. And Snoke is gonna say, you need to complete your training, you need to go to the dark side and everything. What if Kylo Ren has another agenda for Leia? What if, like a lot of people say, maybe Kylo Ren did kill Han Solo because he needed to complete his test. Maybe he's a double agent because he wants to destroy Snoke, but he has to go full dark side because he can feel the pull of the light. So if he kills his mother, it's gonna hurt him even more, and so he's gonna be distracted of all the pain. They just killed both of his parents, and so he's gonna see his traveling back to the light is gonna be harder for him. And also, like you said, the Republic just got destroyed in Force Awakens. So already 5 planets have been destroyed. So Leia is the only one that can bring back all the stable to being stable to the little of left of the Republic between the justice and the war. So she needs a minimal to die in episode 9, not in episode 8.
See, I disagree with both of your arguments because Kylo Ren's not this. I mean, he killed his dad, so he's somewhat of a monster, but he's not a monster. Like, as far as, like, Star Wars lore goes, like, he's not the worst of them. I believe Chewie and Leia are going to be able to join forces and sway him over to the light side. That's how I think his arc is going to end. This whole evil throughout's not going to happen. It wasn't successful with Anakin to sway him back, and that's how he's going to be like Anakin. He's going to get swayed back and be the chosen one everyone needed.
So let me ask a question. Let me ask you a question, Tom. How will the Millennium Falcon die in Episode 8?
Well, I assume in A Blaze of Glory. It's over 100 years old. It's had 3 different ties in with the rebellions, the different ones, the Resistance, Rebellion, and the one before that, which I'm not so good with. It's seen its fair share of battles. It took out the second Death Star. I wouldn't see it go out in any other way, and I don't want to see it fighting a Death Star, but in A Blaze of Glory would be amazing.
Do you have a pitch for how that would go?
Well, that wasn't the question, but I can make something up.
I'm asking you how your character died.
All right, so... okay, so Chewie's taken the Falcon back from the island planet, which apparently has 1 island on it, and he's going to some mission. See, I don't have anything for a pitch. That's not. That wasn't the question.
Ash, if Leia dies in the next episode, how do you see that taking place?
I would see that taking place. There's some kind of, like the Resistance is trying to infiltrate a planet, trying to get some information on what the First Order is doing next. There's a battle that she has to get involved in, step out of the reign of just leading the troops. Some kind of dire situations happening. And I didn't really think of Kylo Ren being the one to kill her. I think that would be too similar to what happened in Force Awakens. So I think she's just a casualty of some kind of... either a higher ranking, like maybe Captain Phasma, or just another stormtrooper, just a casualty of war. And I think that would serve the narrative purpose a lot better than Chewbacca, who could still show some character growth. And then even with the Millennium Falcon dying, I mean, they could always get another Corellian spaceship to take its place. I don't know if that would have
they went off the line impact. A while ago. So it's very hard to get. They actually have to patch the ship together with leftover Rebellion parts. You can see that the new satellite is actually the same satellite off of one of its ships, of the Rebellion ships. It also has 3 distinct drain droids. It has an astromech, splicer, and transport droid. They're unique to the Millennium Falcon and fine-tuned to work the way it does when it wants to. Raul, if the Impala from Supernatural blew up, could you make the Impala back again? Would it be the same car?
Dean constructed it back in season 2.
Okay, so the toy soldier and the engravings that saved Sam from Lucifer, those would still be there? No,
yeah,
all the characteristics are going to be gone. And the same interior decorator for 2001: Space Odyssey worked on the Millennium Falcon, and he purposely made the inside of it look dirty, so it would have character, so it would look lived in. It's not you replace the ship. It's not the same ship.
Ashley, give me your final argument.
All right, so again, I think Leia's death would have a lot more narrative impact because she has been with this rebellion, this resistance since the original, the films. So her character being a figurehead of this rebellion, what are they going to do now that their leader is gone? How is that going to affect Rey, Finn, Poe, our new characters, as well as our old characters like Luke and Chewie? What will that do to that story? While still kind of tying into old stuff, but then how is it going to impact the new things with the First Order versus Chewie? He can grow, and then the Millennium Falcon, whether or not you could replace it, I don't think that's going to have a big impact on the narrative overall.
Raul, tell me about Chewie one more time.
Yes, Chewie is gonna be hurt, like I said, and also he's, like you said, character growth. He's gonna have a lot of character growth because, and like J.J. Abrams always does, and a lot of TV shows, when you're gonna think, I'm gonna give this character a death scene, it's gonna have a very cool arc. So Chewie's gonna be hurt. He's gonna want to defend the galaxy one last time, and also he's gonna defend Poe and Finn. He's gonna die honorably. He's gonna die in Captain Phasma's hands, and also against Leia. She needs more development because Leia, she was like almost like a side character in The Force Awakens. She was only for like 2 minutes. So she needs more development because you know that Leia knows something about Rey. She needs to have an interaction with Luke. You cannot kill her right off very quickly. And also to the Millennium Falcon, if you're going to say you're going to kill the Millennium Falcon honorably, you're going to kill him in the last, maybe the last 15 or 20 minutes of the final, or the end of the trilogy. You're going to kill the Falcon because it's one of the higher iconic ships of all of Star Wars represent. You're going to kill them in the final battle of the trilogy. The Great Win Big. You're going to kill in that moment. And for Chewbacca, it's another death that's going to represent the pain of the war that is coming to go on until episode 9. That is why you need to kill Chewbacca in the middle.
Tom, final notes on the Millennium Falcon.
I just want to weigh in quick on the others real quick. If Leia is killed by anyone else besides Kylo Ren, I would be very disappointed because I feel like that is his quest, is to cut off all ties. So at least if he doesn't attempt to do it, then I don't think it's appropriate. Chewie, they just cast a new actor to play Chewie because the original actor can't stand. I doubt he's been training for years with this guy. I doubt very much that they're just going to kill off Chewie. The Millennium Falcon, if it blows up at the end of the original trilogy or the new trilogy, it's not going to be able to pass the torch of a new ship. So my whole reasoning for it blowing up would not exist. The Millennium Falcon is something that fans can see explode and weep, and no other ship, no other thing in Star Wars besides the droids could do that.
Wow. Well, this is a tough first round. Woo!
This is tough.
This is quite the challenge.
Brian, what are we seeing on Twitter?
Oh, well, first let me shout out some of our friends watching live: Billy Poulahan, Austin, Ronnie Netflix, Hamza Juzer, Andrew Schick. Lots of activity here. Andrew reminding us that technically it was Wedge who took out the second Death Star, even though the Falcon led the charge.
I actually wrote that down myself as well.
Yeah. Also, we had our poll up. Ronnie Netflix is helping us out with our polls. And looks like mostly we're going with Chewbacca, Millennium Falcon close behind, Princess Leia in third, Yoda's Force Ghost, the write-in candidate.
All right. Woo. Well, this was definitely a tough round. I see why.
Oh, I
that
do have a
gets said
couple of
lot.
fact-checking notes. Do you want fact-checking
please.
notes too? I mean, I'm here for it. I can do it.
Yes. So what do you got?
Man.
Real quick, I want to thank Raul for going full Oedipus on us and having Kylo kill Han Solo and have alternate ideas for Leia. I got to take Tom to task on his Millennium Falcon legends here. He said they weren't in the prequels. There's actually confirmed cameo in Revenge of the Sith.
I knew it.
A cameo is not putting it in the story though.
It's confirmed.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Millennium
Just because I
Falcon's
saw Leonardo DiCaprio down the street doesn't mean I know him.
Also, you said that the Millennium Falcon's over 100 years old. We can't confirm that anymore. Those are legends now. That's not canon. So we can only say that it's.
I did say it was a folk legend.
At least. I'm not saying. I'm just putting it out there. Fact. Canon.
All right.
That canon stuff is so
Chewbacca's
lame.
234 years old.
And also, during the prequels, Lando had the Millennium Falcon.
Well, when I was going through and listening to the round, I do have to say that with the Millennium Falcon, the biggest problem with the Falcon is it's a ship in space, and the one thing you didn't give me, what I was waiting for, was that it's destroyed on the ground. Because if the Millennium Falcon is blown up in space, we're losing more than just the Millennium Falcon. We're losing some other characters as well. Probably Chewbacca. Probably someone else.
Lando can come back in and die in it. It's fine.
So Lando
Perfect.
and the Millennium Falcon.
So don't you take me in?
For me, looking at my notes, it was between Ashley and Raul. One of the big things that I liked from Raul was when he was mentioning how Leia is one of only two major female characters in The Force Awakens, or in the new trilogy, and that was kind of important. But Raul did go a little crazy with the with his French Connection car chase in space. I was wondering where he was going with that, and there was a lot of speculation on Raul's part as to what was going to happen in the next film. I liked that Ashley talked about the narrative impact of having Leia die, whereas Chewbacca, Raul said character growth, but it's kind of hard to grow a character who no one understands but Han, and they killed him in the last story, and now Rey, I guess. So I am actually going to go with Ashley for round one.
I'm totally shocked.
Ashley gets the first point. Well done. And it is time for round two. Here we go. Let's see if this works. All right. Thank you, Apollo. Round two is our superhero movie category. This is where we debate everything Marvel, DC, and beyond. And for this question, we are asking, which DC supervillain should join the Suicide Squad besides the Joker? And in this round, we are going to start with Ashley.
All right, so we haven't really seen too much of the Suicide Squad yet cinematically. We do know the characters, and we know it seems from the trailer that Harley Quinn is going to be a big part of this film. So I thought, who better to be paired up with Harley Quinn in the movie than Poison Ivy in the second one, because she's an iconic DC character. She was in the Suicide Squad, and they have a lot of fan media history in the comics as well as in the Batman the Animated Series.
All right. Taking Poison Ivy. Tom, who are you taking?
My choice is G. Gordon Godfrey. He, first off, Suicide Squad cast is huge right now. If I wanted to list you the amount of people who are in the Suicide Squad, it would take me a minute because I have a hard time. Brian would probably have a better time doing it. My thing is I want to bring in a villain who can be part of the dark undertone as like a commentary, as the viewer's eyes on the situation, and that's G. Gordon Godfrey, mostly known for Justice League and Young Justice. In Young Justice, he was voiced by Tim Curry, and he's pretty much your Bill O'Reilly, dare I say it, Donald Trump, xenophobic talk show host who's pretty much against everything super.
All right. And Raul, who are you taking?
I chose Vandal Savage. He just been shown in the new TV show called Legends of Tomorrow. Vandal Savage is like an immortal person that has lived since Egyptian times until now. He knows about how to manage to go through wars, how to develop a lot of political stories and everything. So he's gonna join the Suicide Squad because he wants to lead it, and also it's gonna be like a lot of cool character frictions between all the characters. It's gonna have like the Joker says, "I want to be the leader," but Vander says, "No, you're gonna do this better, and you're gonna do this plan better." So that's the one that I chose.
All right, guys, fight.
Who would like to start?
Don't jump in first. Ashley, tell me more about Poison Ivy and Suicide Squad.
All right, so I went with Poison Ivy not only because she is a comic book. She's in the Suicide Squad comic book, but she hasn't really had a proper screen portrayal. I do not count the abomination that was Batman and Robin from, I think, the late 90s. I can't remember the exact date. But Uma Thurman's portrayal in that whole movie is a mess. I think she needs a proper screen portrayal, and this could be a good one. Fans would like it. It's a character that's known by fans and casual comic book movie viewers as well. So I think it's what the studio would go with versus the other characters that might not be as well known.
Tom, more from you.
Okay, so more on G. Gordon Godfrey. It's kind of hard because by telling you what he does, it's a like spoiler for why I think he would be such a great why he would be so good. But okay, so Batman versus Superman. Everyone see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, even if people didn't see it, if you know what a parademon is and you saw it in the trailer, you know Apocalypse is coming. G. Gordon Godfrey is also known as the Glorious Godfrey, a citizen of Apocalypse. He was sent to Earth to sway the humans into Apocalypse's favor and to hate the heroes. So this would tie what's going on in Batman versus Superman. And, I mean, I know Batman's going to be in it fighting a car, but I feel like this would set the tone, and I would have this played by Bob Odenkirk, because his work on Saul is amazing, and he's that person who can get you by the grit, you know what I mean, and twist words so that it'll unnerve you, and that's what it is. It's turning the human element against the heroes. I don't want him pretty much running around with Suicide Squad because there's just too many people. You can't get that many people on camera. Sorry, go ahead, Raul.
Okay. Damn, I didn't cast Vandal Savage, but I just think like maybe Vandal Savage could be portrayed by Tom Cruise. He can portray a good villain. Like he was a good villain in Collateral, and also he was he can represent immoral, like in Interview with a Vampire. He was Lestat, so he could be a cool villain. And also Vandal Savage, he's immoral. A lot of the Suicide Squad, they're gonna hate him because they never know his secret of how to kill him. And also he's gonna have other interactions with all the Suicide Squad. Harley Quinn will be like interested, like she wants to like a date with Vandal Savage, and then Joker's gonna be jealous, or like the guy, the Boomerang, he's gonna be like, who I'm gonna answer? Like, I'm gonna answer to Joker, or I'm gonna answer to Deadshot, I'm gonna answer to Vandal Savage. So it's gonna have a lot of interactions with all the characters. That is why my thinking of Vandal Savage. And also, one quick question, Tom. I don't know who your guy is. He's an alien? He's a superhero?
No, he looks human. The whole part of him is that you think he's just a talk show host who's doing everything. Okay. He's actually capable of superhuman strength. I believe he's also immortal. He's really good. He's a master manipulator. But what he is like a Trojan horse for the apocalypse coming in. He's turning everyone against superheroes so that when Darkseid shows up, no one resists him. Raul,
you're already tying in for Justice.
It has to. If they're trying to do this flagship, let's tie everything together, there has to be some kind of element. And I know Batman makes an appearance, but I want something a little bit more than that. Raul, the problem with your pick is you picked the CW's version of Vandal Savage. And the only thing I like about him, and they get that part right, is that he's not your regular run-of-the-mill street villain who's going to be running aside with Captain Boomerang and Killer Croc. He's the man behind the man power. When Hitler rose, he was behind Hitler. When Stalin rose, he was behind Stalin. And it's all throughout time. And it's a lot longer than Egyptian times. In the comic books, he was a caveman who came across a meteor that turned him superhuman. Also, Poison Ivy is a good pick. I almost picked it myself. The only issue is they already are focusing in a little bit on Harley Quinn. And if they're going to bring another close relationship character like that in, then we're just pushing all the other characters aside. Because then it's just Joker, Harley, and Poison Ivy's the days of our lives.
Hot stuff.
I would watch it.
Ashley, do you have anything more to add?
And another issue that not just DC but a lot of comic book franchises have an issue with is more female representation. So I was trying to go with a female character so that they could, even though the Suicide Squad does have a few other female characters, I just wanted to bring another one on so that we could have some more representation. And the actress that I picked to portray Poison Ivy was Bryce Dallas Howard. I think that she has the acting chops to be in an action film. We've seen her in Jurassic World. I know that's a contentious movie for a lot of people, but she can do action. But she can also pull off the sultry side of Poison Ivy, and I think she can hold her own against Margot Robbie, who is a very beautiful actress. So I think they'll contrast well with each other. And again, more representation for women in film.
Raul, do you have any final thoughts?
First, is Bryce Dallas Howard as person like she's gonna run in high heels from a big monster or Darkseid or something? So that will be funny. And another thought, like, I know that Vandal Savage is a CW character right now, but they're gonna transition also, like they say in CW. Flash is a very good character. They're gonna transition him into a film. A lot of people say
that's
no.
Fine. I love CW shows with the exception of that. My problem was you didn't pitch the good Vandal Savage. You pitched the...
I pitched the CW one, and also
And he's not that entwined with Hawkman and Hawkgirl. Like, that whole thing isn't a thing. Like, Vandal Savage is, like, the big bad. Like, he's the one who's throwing the lower tier guys at you. He's the one in the shadows, or in Young Justice, he's the one in the light.
Oh.
Right.
So that's my final...
Do you have any
And
final thoughts,
also...
Raul? Wait, let me let Raul get in his...
Sorry, yeah.
No, and also, like you said, Vandal Savage can be in the shadows. He can be the one controlling everything. Maybe, let's say, he can join the Suicide Squad, but maybe they can double cross the Suicide Squad in a future movie, and then he can betray them. And also, like we know in the movie, maybe they're like Suicide Squad. Joker's not gonna be on the team. Maybe he's gonna be against them. He's not going to join them because Joker is crazy. And also Vandal Savage, he can do also like a double cross them also. So that is why also, like I said, like you said, like he was in a lot of wars and everything. So that is why I chose him. Maybe because he has the intelligence, he can be the manipulator and also the puppeteer. That is why I chose him.
Amanda Waller's the puppeteer in that.
So Tom, a few final thoughts here?
But you can have two puppeteers.
I really like the Poison Ivy idea. The only thing is, I would rather see that relationship develop than have her just introduced and they're like already best friends. And again, there's just a lot going on in this movie, like a lot, just a lot. That's it. That's
all right. That's a good spot to stop. Let's go to the checker chair. Brian, do you have anything to fact check on this one?
Real quick, it was Bryce Dallas Howard for Poison Ivy. Did Raul give us a recast? There were a couple. Nolan Dean and Billy Poulahan were both asking about recast.
He said Tom Cruise for...
Tom Cruise. Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure. Poison Ivy, the only member of the three choices here that has actually been in the Suicide Squad in the comics. And they have had a big roster. Aside from that, as far as on Twitter, there was a poll. Poison Ivy's way out in front. No question.
Wow. All right. Well, when I look at the my notes here, this was definitely a difficult round. I like how Tom or Yeah, you really brought it this round. There was a lot of good points made. What I like from Ashley, I like that that Poison Ivy was in the comic and that she was already a member of Suicide Squad in the past. I also like that you got endorsed twice by Tom, who said that this was a good character to pick. But I didn't hear a lot from you about how she'd work in with anybody but Harley Quinn. Raul.
That's fair.
Raul, when you didn't tell me. You told me a lot about how he kind of fits in the squad, but I didn't really get a lot of dynamics between the other characters the way I did with Tom's. Tom, if there was a negative to your argument, it was that you said originally that he was not in the squad. But aside from that, I found there was a lot of. Let's see, I can't even read my notes because I'm a mess. I am picking Tom. Too much drama between the two, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. Vandal is too big of a villain. The CW Vandal Savage is a little bit watered down. And I like that Tom tied in Brotherhood, Batman v Superman. He tied in the DCU, so I'm going to pick Tom for this one. So Tom gets the point.
I also liked what he had to say about how not adding a new character, but kind of somebody that's going to be manipulating people. I thought that was really cool, but I didn't know who that was because I don't know a lot about DC. Well, that's where I'm severely lacking in knowledge.
Again, he's it's cool that he's not known, because if you're watching the movie and Bob Odenkirk comes in, you just assume he's going to be this random character. You don't realize he's going to be this other guy.
By the way, that's a great casting choice. I love Bob Odenkirk.
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
Twitter
took
loves
me a long
that casting choice.
Yeah,
Kimber
really
specifically thought that was
Bob
nice,
Odenkirk is Saul Goodman, right?
Yes.
Tom Cruise is so in everything. All right, let's go on to round 3. This one's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
We call this round Pitch Perfect for a reason. It's because we are going to pitch a movie. It's going to be crazy, and I've seen what everybody's pitching. This will be a nutty round. Let's get Apollo to tell us about round 3. All right. The pitch we're going for today, pitch the film that returns Johnny Depp to greatness. And we're looking for a director of the film and any co-stars as well as the plot of the movie. And this round we are going to be starting with Tom.
All right. So I am pitching a Alfred Hitchcock remake. It is the film Vertigo. And I would have it directed by Christopher Nolan. The reason I want Christopher Nolan is not only has he revitalized a lot of actors' careers, DiCaprio, McConaughey. He's well received. He's always financially successful. He experiments with every film a lot like Hitchcock does, and I feel like he would do a very good job with it. I'll get more on the technical side of the film, but Depp, he plays Scotty Ferguson. He's a retired policeman who has to retire after having an incident with a fit of vertigo because he develops a fear of heights. Also in it is Amy Adams, along with Leonardo DiCaprio as Gavin Ellister. I feel like DiCaprio and Depp would work really well. They've been together in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and it'd be nice to see them come back into it together. And Scarlett Johansson would be playing 2 parts in my film. I'll get more in the plot during the argument.
All right, then let's go to Ashley. You want to give us your pitch?
All right, so I picked Edgar Wright to direct an original film, not a remake. And so Johnny Depp, the problem I've seen lately, and when I've talked to my friends about this, he's done the quirky, eccentric character to death, sometimes to his success, but a lot of times to his detriment if you look on the movie ratings online. So I wanted something that could still be kind of quirky, which Edgar Wright has been really successful with, but also something that's a little more grounded. So he's going to be playing an older archaeologist and / anthropology professor at a small liberal arts college. I also cast Scarlett Johansson in my movie to play kind of what starts off to be an enemy but then becomes an ally. And the type of movie it's going to be, my favorite Edgar Wright films are, of course, the Cornetto Trilogy, and so this is going to be kind of a send-up of the action-adventure films in the same vein of Indiana Jones, Jewel of the Nile, and as he hasn't, I don't think he's done that yet. And I'll give more plot details later.
All right, Raul, hit me.
Oh, like you said, like an original story. Now Hollywood has really gone to death because a lot of people and our directors and screenwriters they don't accept original ideas because they want to remake everything. And also, I was like Jack. He sent me text like from 2 or 3 days like when you're gonna give your patient. I was thinking an original idea, but if good like giving an adaptation to an original idea like it is difficult. So that is why like I was like, where can I adapt Johnny Depp in something that he was like you can represent like not his quirkiness and also like all the things that he does like very funnily like in Alice in Wonderland or like in Pirates of the Caribbean. Let's go back to the Johnny Depp that we met in the 90s to be very dramatic and also can be in horror movies. He can show like a little action. So that is why my pitch is a remake of a John Carpenter. One of my favorite films is from John Carpenter. It's called In the Mouth of Madness. Johnny Depp will be the lead. His name is Jim Trent. Jim Trent is involved by a publisher. The publisher is portrayed by Bryan Cranston. He hires him to find out the whereabouts of an author called Sutter Crane. Sutter Crane. He just did like a saga of books about a town called Hobbs End. These different novels they talk about different subjects of the town, that different murders, different creatures, different types of ghosts and hauntings, and all of the saga that portrays of the novels. So even though Jim, that is Johnny Depp's character, he doesn't understand why of the hype, why everyone wants to talk about these novels, of all the he can see everybody reading on their tablets, on their phones, having it printed, and so he doesn't understand it. So he goes on the mission like to find this author, and he gets assisted by one of the editors of the novels is portrayed by Nick Campbell. And then my movie is directed by David Robert Mitchell. He directed It Follows last year. So I want my movie not to be like a big budget horror movie. I want to stay little because a lot of good horror movies recently, they need to stay little because they are going to rely on CGI. It's not going to give you terror. I want all terror horror movies back with practicality, with good makeup that will give you horror. You're going to think about the story. And so in the movie, he's gonna read all the novels. He's gonna have a lot of nightmares. He's gonna see a lot of people, and also have like a quick cameo by Shia LaBeouf, like in the original movie. That he's gonna see a fan. He's gonna see a fan reading the novels, and then he's gonna start drooping blood off his eyes. He's gonna turn like really white. He's gonna say, "Do you read Sutter Crane?" And then Johnny Depp will say, I don't want. I need to read it to find him. You're gonna get crazy. Just do it. It's gonna say, don't do it, and he's gonna grab like a knife. He's gonna kill the cashier to not to process his checkout when he buys the novels, and then you're gonna see like a police guy killing Shia LaBeouf. And then you're gonna see like, oh, so Shia LaBeouf is gonna be like interesting again. It's gonna have like a quick cameo, like 1 minute, and when we're gonna kill him off. And so then he's gonna have a lot of interactions because he's gonna be in his mind like, what is real, what is not, and also he's gonna have a lot of drama because he has to go to this town. He's gonna find the ubication of the author. And then also he's gonna have also the interactions with the other character that is Linda, is portrayed by Nick Campbell. Nick Campbell's gonna say, but why don't believe that all these horror stories can be real? Everything could be possible, and he's not gonna believe it. So he also is gonna enter in the psychology of his character to believe what is real and what is not. And also the author is gonna have like a 2-minute, like 3-minute character, because the mystery in the movie in the Mouth of Madness is that you don't know who the author is. And so for me, the actor is going to be portrayed by Benedict Cumberbatch.
And so you're putting everybody in this movie.
And then it's going to be produced by John Carpenter. And also I have the score by Michael Giacchino. He did the Star Trek remakes and the Lost. So I want to be really mysterious, like in the old movies, that the music traps you to the suspense. Like also like the director of It Follows, David Robert Mitchell, it really attracts you. It was like a portrayal, like a gift to all the John Carpenter fans. Even John Carpenter said that it feels like when you see It Follows, you can feel seeing like John Carpenter movies, especially Halloween, all the close-ups and all the practicality of, you can never see the horror. Like in It Follows, you never see who the creature is. You're like in Halloween, you can see like why Michael Myers is doing these things. So you can also portray all the horror that he's gonna see cadavers, he's gonna see a lot of blood, so etc.
Let me hear a little bit more then about Ashley's pitch.
All right, so in my film, again, directed by Edgar Wright, Johnny Depp is going to play a very nerdy archaeology/anthropology adjunct professor, which if you don't know a lot about the education system, that is like the lowest tier at the university. You don't get a lot of respect, you don't get a lot of money, but he's worked there forever because he has ambitions to be great. Like he was inspired by, in part by Indiana Jones, like, oh, that would be so cool to do that. But of course, the reality of the day-to-day life of an anthropology/archaeology professor, it's not all fun and games and adventure. And so his university is going to inherit this object, which I have named the El Diario de la Muerte, which is a book. And so they're trying to research it so that they can maybe find a lost treasure in the country of Guatemala. Well, when Scarlett Johansson's character Lillian shows up, she kind of tricks him and steals the book because she's going to sell it to our antiquities dealer, Christoph Ertz, who's going to be played by Christopher Eccleston. And so Ertz double crosses Lillian, she gets mad, so she and Johnny Depp's character, Carlton, Dr. Stone, they team up to go on an adventure to get the book back. And then kind of like, because a lot of Edgar Wright's movies, especially the Cornetto trilogy, they have a little twist at the end. The twist that I was going to have about my movie was that the book was a fake created by the Guatemalan government to promote tourism. And so they would go on all these crazy adventures thinking they're trying to get this wonderful artifact. They're going to discover all of these lost treasures. And then really it was just a giant ruse for everything.
All right, Tom, let me hear more about yours.
A few notes on the other two. Sorry about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The 2 notes on the other two. There are not a lot of successful archaeological movies. You end up with Sahara if you don't do it right. And Raul, I'm sorry. It's the remake of what?
It's the original film in the Matter Madness.
Oh, okay. I agree with parts of both of your things. We should get back to the serious, like, thriller Johnny Depp. And my best example of this is Secret Window. It's one of my favorite Johnny Depp windows, one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. And he is on the verge of madness the entire time. And he plays it really well. The only thing is, he doesn't really pull off anyone else like he does for those other films. Willy Wonka, he pulls off Michael Jackson for his performance. But I would want to do someone a little better and who has a little bit more of a history. I would have him look at Elvis Presley, mostly because his character was done in the first place by Jimmy Stewart, and I feel like that little classiness in the voice, but studying the film reel that is Elvis Presley's and interviews and stuff like that, coming back from the war, you can see that he can turn the charm on, but he has like a vacant haunt in his eyes, and then like going on and on to his profession where he got more into drugs and stuff like that, he just become a mess and he's twitching, and there's a lot of that in this movie. Vertigo is a romance thriller, supernatural. It was one of the first of its kind, and it recently replaced Citizen Kane as one of the top movie, according to the British something. I lost my note on that. I would want this film to be like Nolan's Shutter Island. The whole thing is Scotty gets hired by his college friend, who's played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and Leonardo DiCaprio's character is very concerned because his wife has started to just become a different person, like she's almost possessed. and he believes there's a supernatural element to it, to where one of her ancestors who killed herself back in like the late 1800s is now haunting her, and he's concerned about her safety. So Scotty's retired. He doesn't want any of this because he gets these huge fits of vertigo, who I think Nolan could do without overdoing it. I don't want this to turn into Cloverfield where it's all crazy, but I feel like with what he did with Inception, you can really get into some cool visual effects. And he gets hired, even though he's off the force, he gets hired to follow his wife around just to make sure the wife doesn't try anything. So the wife goes and she visits this weird painting. It's a painting of her ancestor. She goes to this weird hotel. It actually is her ancestor's old home. No way she would know all these things. And eventually she tries to kill herself in the San Francisco Bay. The wife played by a blonde Scarlett Johansson. He jumps in, saves her, and from there they begin to fall in love, which he has Leonardo DiCaprio husband probably isn't going to like, and I think he could do a lot of cool things with that. And all during this time, Scotty's friend and confidant, who's played by Amy Adams, becomes jealous and obsessive, and there's a small romance there. Now, eventually, the wife starts her old tricks again and runs up the stairs of a church steeple trying to kill herself. Now, he can't go up the steeple because of his heights. He looks down the stairs, he freaks out, only to see her fall from the window and die. He goes into this huge anxiety breakdown, and I think, again, Nolan, with his work with Interstellar, could do this amazing trip scene that is in the Hitchcock version, and I think he could do his awesome blend of it. He has a psychological break. He's out for a year, and then he finally comes back, and he's just haunted by not being able to save this woman. The husband's left the country. He can't deal with it anymore. He doesn't want to be around here. And so he just starts following people who look at her. He goes back to, there's these beautiful sets. Ernie's Restaurant is one of these long restaurant with these beautiful red wallpapers. I feel like Nolan could nail the setting. And the whole reason that I'm casting Depp in this is because I feel like if we get, I want Danny Elfman to compose. I do not want this to be some kind of weird Tim Burton thing, but Danny Elfman has done much more than Tim Burton. He's done Mission Impossible, who also I would like to write for the film. His name is, no, not Danny Elfman. He's not writing for the film. David Coep. He wrote Secret Window. He also wrote Stir of Echoes along with Mission Impossible and Jurassic Park. I feel like getting a perfect crew with some alums, some Nolan alums, and some other people that Depp has worked with. I want to get more in my plot, but I really don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen the Hitchcock film.
So let me ask a question to this, and I'll start with Ashley briefly, because this is probably going to be our longest round. But Ashley, what I want you to do is tell me how your movie highlights Depp better than the other two choices.
I think my film can highlight Depp better than the other two is it's going to have, because again, it's not going to be a like straight up like archaeology / anthropology movie. It's a send up of those genres, and I think that it'll just show off his quirkiness without being too over the top, and plus it'll be an original property instead of a remake. So I think that could help keep some fans interested versus like, oh, they're just remaking these movies. Remakes are have a bad reputation, especially the last Hitchcock remake we've had, I think, was the Psycho remake, which I think left a lot of bad taste in a lot of the fans' mouths. So I'll be worried about seeing that property remade.
Again, I feel like Nolan and Hitchcock have a very similar approach when it comes to directing, and I feel like if Psycho had a better director, it may not have gone over that way.
Tom, why don't you finish your thought there with how yours is better to highlight Depp than the other two?
Because I love Depp, and I'm a huge Pirates of the Caribbean fan. Edward Scissorhands would make me cry if I watched it right now. I want Depp in a place where he has the freedom to act, yet is kind of guidelined by this. This is also a period piece, by the way. It's set in the 1950s, so there's this perfect team around him of familiarity yet innovativeness that can propel him. And I feel like if you just set him loose in the wild with, I have nothing wrong with an original script. That's the harder fight to fight. My problem is I don't know your story well enough to see him in these roles. I watched probably a few Hitchcock trailers just to get my idea of what kind of role he could play, because I really wanted to do a remake that people could take him seriously and it could be artistic yet a tribute to something that's already great. The original movie is definitely dated with its technology, and Jimmy Stewart, his acting is a little odd, but for then it was amazing. Johnny Depp could fit in that role. He could do all of his little ticks and nuances and yet not take away from the character.
Raul, how about you?
Yes, like Ashley said, that a lot of like in the present we have a lot of remakes. Also, in my movie, in my notes, I says I'm gonna put out here that it's gonna have a lot of jokes about, not jokes, but little hidden jokes. Like it's gonna have like I put out here in my notes. He sees that this book has a lot of success. One of the things that Brian Cranston said, as the publisher says, it has been sold more than Harry Potter and the Twilight books together combined. And also Sony is trying to do a cinematic universe around the books. So I got really adapt, because I say, how could this movie adapt to now? Because you need to adapt also the story. Because in the original movie, in The Marrow Madness, it's pointing out to Stephen King. Everybody in the 90s and the 80s were reading Stephen King novels. So right now, everybody's reading comic books, is reading vampire books, the Harry Potter books, a lot of young adult novels. So I put out here that right now, the horror novels are back. And also, I'm putting out here that everybody's crazy to do an adaptation of things. The original ideas are dying. So that's so that we're gonna have a lot of interactions between the characters discussing this, and also discussing to instruct also to the character, like what is real and what is not. Because I don't want to also spoil the ending, because the ending of that movie is one of my favorite twist endings. I saw this movie when I was 7 years old, and it's an R-rated movie. I wasn't watching on cable. I was like, whoa! I was amazed of the twist ending. I watched this movie before The Sixth Sense. This was one of my first twist endings, and I don't want to spoil it, but I want to see Benedict Cumberbatch say that line that spoils the whole thing. That it has a massive twist. And so you can feel, like you said, Tom, like in Secret Window. It's one of my favorite movies. I like Johnny Depp in like that type of character that you don't know what is real and what is not. He has like a fight between him. Like he doesn't know what he did in that movie. And so that is why also I'm portraying right here, and also portraying, and also like a dark humor and meta also to the movie. Not gonna say it's gonna trash out throughout the whole movie, but also to demonstrate like a message that we need more original ideas, and when we need to be more involved in a lot of things, like to be like portrayed like a lot of comic books and novels and things. We need to go to reality. And also, and like another thing that you said, in 1997 or 96, the remake Psycho, and a lot of people hated it, and I hated it also. And I love all Alfred Hitchcock movies. I have seen Vertigo, Secret Window, no, it's not Secret Window.
Rear Window.
Rear Window. Birds, Psycho, Marnie. So no one is gonna dare to do a remake of Alfred Hitchcock. And so, because a lot of people is gonna be nervous, like, oh my God, a lot of fans are gonna hate me if I change this and if I change that. That is why that guy, Gus Van Sant, he did like exactly shot-by-shot remake, because he was afraid of all the backlash, even though he received a lot of it.
Well, that's why I picked Nolan. If I had pictured anyone else, if you were like Michael Bay's Vertigo, I'd be like, you're insane. But I picked a director I feel like would respect the source material, and I feel like I picked actors as well as the rest of the technical staff, writers, composers, who would respect the film for what it was, who would see it as a reimagining of a cornerstone of film, and I feel like it would be the perfect launching point for Depp. Depp needs something familiar yet groundbreaking, and I feel like they could accomplish this.
I think I'm gonna stop it here. I got what I want from the round, and now I understand why there's a hammer on a different show.
To threaten us.
We don't know anything.
So, Brian, how was the reaction to this round? Any facts to check?
On the Twitter poll, Ashley's way out in front, and I think what that's echoing is another sentiment I'm seeing out here, which is people just aren't that interested in remakes. They don't want to see a remake. They'd rather see them in an original property. And I want to throw out, and I think you guys did a great job on this. None of you picked something where he wears excessive makeup, and nothing with Tim Burton. So great job on that.
Yes.
Axel
He needs to
Yarb,
divorce him.
oh yeah, a good friend of mine on Twitter and a really brilliant Swedish podcaster said, "Why don't we put Johnny Depp in a story about Whitey Bulger?" Anybody like that idea?
Didn't they already do Whitey Bulger?
Oh yeah, that's right. But then we saw it.
That's Black Mass, right?
Oh,
Yes.
Black Mass. Yes. So very forgettable.
Well, the thing that I noticed about this round, and the reason I'm going to go with Ashley on this, is, Tom, a lot of your pitch was everybody but Johnny Depp. We heard a ton of Nolan, and how Nolan was going to do this and Nolan was going to do that, and kind of the same thing from Raul. The horror was the focus, but I didn't hear a lot about Johnny Depp. Specifically, one of the things that really kind of punctuated that for me on Raul's was when he said, I can't wait to hear Benedict Cumberbatch say a final line. And I'm like, well, but we're arguing for Johnny Depp. Why does Johnny Depp not have that line you want to hear? And I think the other point you made for Ashley was your story is about not having enough original ideas, and that's exactly what Ashley's story is, an original idea, and that's why I chose Ashley. So she gets the point.
I'll take it. I didn't think I would get that.
There's more fake cheering that we can't hear, but good job.
Woo! Fake cheering.
Twitter is clearly cheering. Don't worry, they're listening.
Very well done, guys. Pitch rounds are really difficult, so well done.
Oh yes, very challenging. Because how do you plot out something that has not been written except maybe in your own computer file that you wrote a story about years ago, maybe that will never get published?
Well done. That was a great round. We're going to move on to round 4, and I think we have someone to help us with that round. All right. I got one sound effect. I'm going to use it. This is our Hollywood Shuffle round. We call this the random round. This round can pretty much be about anything, and in this case we have chosen what is the best movie soundtrack featuring licensed music to listen to on a road trip. And for this round, we are going to start with Ashley.
Okay, so when you're going on a road trip, it's usually for something fun. So I was trying to think of a soundtrack that had a lot of fun songs, but you don't want it to be so upbeat all the time where you're like you get overwhelmed. So I chose, and you also want a variety of music. So I chose the Top Gun soundtrack as the soundtrack that would be really fun for a road trip because it has a lot of variety of songs, and I have reasons for every song, but we probably just want to generalize. Otherwise, it will take us forever to go through each song.
What do you got, Raul?
Like you say, in a road trip, you need to be you're gonna go to a destination. You need to be happy, to be focused on the road. So what my pick is, Grease is the word that you heard. It's got groove, it's got meaning.
Don't sing too much, or they will try to. The copyright ninjas will come out.
Oh, yes. We don't own that tune, so pretend that you did not hear him singing the exact version of that song.
Oh, okay. So my pick is Grease.
And how about you, Tom? Tom? Oh, we lost Tom.
Oh no, we gotta get Tom back.
We lost Tom. Please stand by while we bring him back into the fold. Talk amongst yourselves. This is
the excitement of live internet, everybody.
Yeah, this is how it works.
Hey, did you see my Thor hammer? I brought it out when we talked. My Mjolnir. I brought it out when you started saying it.
Yeah, I was like, maybe that would be too direct of a call
reference.
Out. Yes, exactly.
An illusion, if you will.
Right, I wouldn't want people to think that was the actual Thor. So you're
there he is. I think
you have to be very careful.
I so strongly disagreed with you, Jack. No, my internet reset. I'm sorry about that.
No
He just
problem.
knocked
Welcome
the
back.
device on the ground there. He's like, I'm so mad.
Just kick it all. So Ashley won that last round.
Yes, Ashley did win that.
All right.
next round.
I didn't get to congratulate her.
We're doing the lightning round. You've been disqualified for dropping it. We're talking movie soundtracks, and it is actually your turn.
Oh, see, I called in at the right time. My perfect mixtape. I said too much already. My perfect soundtrack would be for my perfect road trip, and is the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack.
Oh, someone's whipping out the vinyl.
It was the first soundtrack to ever top Billboard's charts that was composed completely of pre-release songs. It had topped 11 consecutive weeks. In other countries, in the top 3 of Australia, Canada, UK, Italy. So sales alone, I'm not saying that makes a success. It was second to Frozen at a certain point. I don't think Frozen is a better soundtrack. What I'm saying is James Gunn took so much time going over this. I was reading an article. I believe he went over every single top song on the Billboard charts, compiled a list, and slowly brought them down until not only did he have like a perfect blend of songs, he had something that I feel like it's its own character in the story. The mixtape is the mother's gift to Star-Lord. When he's alone in space, he has the comfort, and the reason the music was used in the first place was because in a huge science fiction epic, some people have a hard time having a familiarity with it. So you're seeing all these new things, and the music was to remind you of Star-Lord is a person, and he's into the same stuff we are. He is a Earth American human being who got snatched up. And so the catalog itself actually tells the tale of Star-Lord meeting his father, or I'm sorry, her meeting Star-Lord's father, their relationship together, and if you listen to the tracks and what they say, I'll let you do it yourself. It's amazing. And Disney.
What's the best song? What's the top 2 songs from your soundtrack that you're listening that you really put to a road trip?
Because it's a soundtrack and a song must be associated with the movie. The first track on the album is "Hooked on a Feeling," and that "ooga chaga ooga ooga" as you're revving up the engine and pulling out the driveway is the perfect beginning to a road trip. I'm having a hard time retweeting it right now. I asked James Gunn this morning, is it good for a road trip? And he said something like, it should, Brian, you could check it on my Twitter page. He said, no, only because it would make all your other road trips look terrible, because it's the perfect music to travel with. And the best thing about taking a road trip is knowing that you have a home to go back to afterwards. And that's what this soundtrack is. It's a journey that leads everyone home. And the great thing about the soundtrack is it ends with a song that's the first song on Awesome Mixtape 2. Spoiler, a tape that he gets at the end of the movie. And it's Ain't No Mountain High Enough. That just raises the aspects for the next one. And at the end of let's say your ride, you're listening to us and you end it on Ain't No Mountain High Enough, you get out of the car, you know there's nothing but you're going up. You know what I mean?
Ash, what are some? Let me get Ashley in here. What are some of the songs on Top Gun that you're listening to on the road that you're really enjoying?
All right, we start out really strong with Top Gun with the Danger Zone. It's a really upbeat song, and especially if you're a huge Archer fan, you're quoting that all the time, so you can kind of joke around about that, and it's really pumped up. There's a reason why it was, I think, at #1 at the chart. The whole soundtrack itself was #1, and they released 4 singles from over the course of the album's life. And then another really fun song on that soundtrack is a very highly underrated song. Second song on the list is Mighty Wings by Cheap Trick. They didn't really ever release that as a single, but it keeps the energy up on your road trip, because that's what you're going to need to kind of get through like whatever journey you're going on. Is you want to be entertained. And there's no song on the Top Gun soundtrack that you really want to skip, because they're all good classic songs, or what have become classics. And whereas I almost did pick Guardians of the Galaxy, but then when I was re-listening to the soundtrack, there was a lot of songs on there that were a slower pace for me. And when I'm going on a road trip, I always want the energy to be up. So that's why I went with Top Gun instead, because I felt there was more songs that would really pump me up and get me going. Where I like the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack a lot. Don't get me wrong; it's a good one to listen to. But it just didn't feel like a road trip soundtrack to me versus Top Gun or some other ones even.
Raul, why am I listening to Grease on the road?
You're listening to Grease because you like you said, you need to feel energetic, and also Grease has a lot of power throughout generations. And also, like you said, if you're gonna go through Guardians of the Galaxy one, you're gonna maybe skip one or two, or maybe in the Top Gun. When I hear the soundtrack about Grease, I never skip one because when I hear Grease, I always sing. When I hear Sandy, oh Sandy, baby, or Summer Loving, give me a plane. Grease lightning, Grease. And then when you also when you hear the other song, like there are worse things I could do, think with a boy or two. Like, this gives you pump on a road trip. You remember the movie because you know it by heart. And so that is why you can feel energetic to be in a road trip, driving hours. Like me, when I drive to New Orleans and Austin, I always hear Grease. When I always trying to study something, I always hear Grease. I have the cassette, I have the CD, and I have it on my iPhone. And so, representing, I always being, on a bus, on the subway, or driving. Grease here always pumps me up and always keep me energetic. Even going in the gym, I can be dancing, even on the treadmill. So that is why you can never, also when you hear one of the songs, hopelessly devoted to you. It keeps you sing along, it keeps you energetic. So that is why Grease is one of my favorite soundtracks, and also represents also on a road trip. You can really gonna say that was a good road trip, because it always gonna keep you not saying being up, but you're gonna be energetic, and you're gonna be so happy when you drive to your destination, because also you're gonna remember one of the best musicals of all time. Grease is the Citizen Kane of musicals, in my opinion.
It's done. We've had Iconic and we've had Citizen Kane. So okay. Tom, final thoughts. Why is yours better than Grease and Top Gun?
Okay, first of all, one of the songs is used to defeat the bad guy. Ooh, child, things are gonna be easier. All of these songs have been at the #1 position at one point or another, and you say some of the songs are slow. As far as my knowledge with road trips, there are different parts of the road trip, and I feel like this song conveys different journeys. I would love to be driving through Illinois with the windows down, listening to I'm Not in Love in the middle of the night. I feel like it's a perfect road trip song. Not only that, the soundtrack was so popular that they're like, hey man, we know all of our fans don't have cassette players in their cars. So don't have CD players in their cars. So Disney re-released the album onto a cassette tape. The first time they've done that since, I believe, 2003, maybe 2006. And that was just 60 years of Disney. They haven't made any cassettes since then. This album's amazing, and out of all of these films, I mean, I guess maybe Grease because it's a musical, the songs actually have a weight in the movie themselves. Like, everyone else hears the song when you hear the song, you know what I mean? Star-Lord's listening to it. And by the way, James Gunn added that. That was the first thing he did to Star-Lord. Star-Lord's never had a cassette tape in the comic books. James Gunn was like, I want him to have a Walkman with a cassette tape of Songs of Home what is the soundtrack going to be? It was one of the first things they did for the movie. It's what glued the movie together. It's why it works so well. It pushes the plot through without being crazy. And if you get the deluxe version and you want to be a little, you get sick of it and you're like, let's listen to some classical music, you can just listen to the score by Tyler Bates. It's lovely. I run Dungeons & Dragons games to it often. Because
we
it's
do
a
not
journey.
own any of the licensing to Guardians of the Galaxy. Please do not sue us.
Ashley,
You're making no money.
Ashley,
All right, so I like.
same question. Why is yours better?
The only
Alright,
song I know
so
from
I like-
Top Gun is Danger Zone.
Well, I have all the songs right in front of me.
I'd like to know them.
All right, Danger Zone is the first song on the soundtrack. Again, we start off very upbeat. It gets you going for your road trip. And again, if you love Archer like I do, you can make all the little Danger Zone jokes that are just so fun to do. Then we transition next to Mighty Wings. Cheap Trick, again, highly underrated song. It's full of energy. It keeps you pumped up. And then right after that, another Kenny Loggins song, Playing with the Boys, which I think is in the volleyball montage of the film, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen that.
It is.
And then we have, and so that kind of brings the pace down a little. And then we transition into Tina Marie's Lead Me On, which is a dance track, brings the energy back up. And then we have the classic Berlin, Take My Breath Away, which is the love theme of the film. And you can pretend that you're Terry Nunn and belt along with that, much like you might with some of the songs from Grease. And then Miami Sound Machine, Gloria Estefan's group, brings the energy back up with Hot Summer Nights. And then Loverboy slows us down again with Heaven in Your Eyes. And then we have Through the Fire, another song that kind of amps up the energy. Destination Unknown, which slows us down again, which is from Marietta. And then our soundtrack also does include the score of Top Gun, so if you need a break from the pop songs, you have a couple of instrumentals. And then the extended edition of the soundtrack, which is the one I own, also has the classic songs from the earlier days of rock, like Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, that classic song from, I cannot remember the artist right now, it's totally leaving my mind, but they parodied it often on the State, MTV's classic show, so it kind of reminds you of that. And of course, Great Balls of Fire from Jerry Lee Lewis, You've Lost That Love and Feeling. So all of those classic songs from early days of rock are those ones that you can really belt along with and just have a good time remembering some songs from the 80s as well as some songs from earlier classic days of rock. So it's a good mix of upbeat songs and songs that are kind of slow, so that, when there's, your journey needs to have the energy, it does, but when you need to kind of slow things down, it does as well. And there's no songs on here that you want to skip. Everyone is a good song. You're not like, oh God, not that song again, and just like skip through the next track. You want to listen to all of them.
Raul, close this out.
My one thing with Grease, I would
like you say.
I'll go ahead, Tom, real quick.
Sorry. My one thing with Grease is I would be so concerned that at the end of the tape, my car would just start flying off and I wouldn't be able to get back down.
Go ahead,
yeah,
Raul.
go ahead.
No, my car doesn't fly off.
Why is Grease better than the other two, Raul?
Like Tom, he has only said 3 or 4 tracks of all the soundtrack.
I mean, I can read you the track list. I didn't think you would want.
Yeah, I know Tom knows all the songs because he's got them right there. So I'll allow Tom to have those without having to tell me.
You want me to go ahead?
No, we got him. Go ahead,
okay.
Raul.
Okay, and also the other songs, Beauty School Dropout, No Graduation Day for You. Beauty School Dropout, you fail your midterms and from shampoo. And also Summer Nights, Hand Me a Bless. Summer loving happens so fast. Tell me more. Look at me, I'm Sandra D. Lousy on virginity. And going to bed until leak wet. So, like you said, a soundtrack has to keep you up. This soundtrack makes me always sing, and that is why I love to do it on a road trip. That is why it also remembers you the film. It makes you sing. And like you said, also, well, let's say for inspiration, when I heard this soundtrack, when I first see the movie in 1995, I think, or 96, that's one of the first things also I wanted to learn English because I was raised first talking Spanish, and I wanted to know the words, the meaning in Spanish of these songs. And so that is why also it remembers you the story and the movie and also makes you sing about it. Even though I'm not a good singer, but for me, I always keep singing about it. Like when I heard Adele, I can sing you all the Adele songs because
we don't have to do that. We don't have the money to pay for the lawsuit that Adele will bring upon us.
Okay.
If you start dropping Adele songs.
I'm not going to sing an Adele song. I know about it.
Her lawyers are very good.
I get having personal ties to a musical. I totally understand that with you. But most road trips, I assume you're going to bring some friends along. And I know at least the majority of my friends, if I have Top Gun soundtrack, Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, and Grease's soundtrack, no one's picking Grease. Maybe one. And
Tom's being an ageist. Tom's an ageist, everybody.
I'm being realistic.
I don't listen to Top Gun.
I knew 3 songs off that list. Maybe it's because I don't have a wide knowledge of classic rock.
I didn't want to embarrass myself.
And a lot of my people wouldn't be like, yeah, let's listen to Take My Breath Away. Let's get jived. And I mean, there's a lot more better singers than John Travolta. If you like Grease so much, I would check out other productions by other people. I cannot name any off the top of my head.
Does a great job composing. All right, I think I'm ready to go with this round. Brian, how are things looking?
Oh, yeah, Twitter's loving this round, by the way. Morgan Robinson says, get Raul a record deal right now. Langley M. Neely, too, friend of the show. Says Raul's voice is Grease Lightning. I also got to give a shout-out. I got to give a shout-out to celebrity friend of the podcast and host of the wonderful 6 Degrees of Feature Film, Miss Movies. She can't quite be with us live, but, she's here in spirit.
Nice to see Brianne is watching the show. Awesome.
How's the poll?
Yeah, was there a poll?
Give me a second to check the poll. While I'm doing that, I can say that all these, these were all popular records, obviously. Guardians of the Galaxy has gone platinum. The Grease soundtrack has gone platinum 8 times. Wow. Top Gun comes out 9 times. But, they've had a couple of years to get out in front of that. Yeah. Also, the longest one, if you want the most variety in your road trip, you don't want it to turn over too quickly. The Top Gun soundtrack has a 20-song deluxe extended edition. So you get the most variety, the most bang for your buck on that one. I cannot find the poll right now, but I bet Guardians of the Galaxy. But based on what I'm seeing on Twitter, I would say Guardians is probably out in front on the poll.
All right. Well, this is definitely a tough round because all 3 of these albums are very good. I am familiar with all of them, and Raul, I could sing along with you. I'm just not going to embarrass myself.
Oh, me too.
I love Grease. I watched it a lot when I was a kid as well. Mostly to continue learning English, but it was still very good. So I liked all 3 of the choices here. This was a really difficult decision for me. Tom, I really like your pick. I think I heard so much about how it applied to the film, and I didn't hear quite enough about how it would make
because a road trip's a journey.
Better. Well, no, and I got that, but I think it was a little bit more for the film and less for like where you're driving. And Ashley, I feel the same way. You made a point that the other 2 had slow songs, but then you gave me a list of slow songs as well. Yeah. So I feel that kind of balanced out. And really, it's hard to argue with Raul when he's going to drop the beats and start singing little cuts from every track. And I can really feel the enthusiasm.
Definitely.
When he's on the road, I believe he's having a good time singing to that album. So I'm going to pick Raul for this round as the winner. Good job, Raul.
Yay, Raul.
If you had asked me who was winning this round going into it, I would not have said Grease, but I felt the word, so I'm going to give you the point. So right now, we are looking at Ashley with 2 points. You are guaranteed to go to the lightning round. The question is, who will be joining you, because both Raul and Tom have 1 point. So this is for who goes forward, unless Ashley wins the point, and then we'll do a tiebreaker. And we call this final round Personal Best. This is simply the best, better than all the rest. This is Hollywood's best something. And in this one, we have chosen who is the best character in a Kevin Smith movie. And we are going to start with Tom for this round.
My pick is Cardinal Ignatius Glick from Dogma, played by George Carlin. He is a up-and-coming cardinal who wants to make Catholicism hip again. Growing up as a Roman Catholic, this movie definitely speaks to me the most, especially Carlin's execution of the role, where he's played more as a businessman than a man of the clergy. This man's playing putt-putt golf in his office. He is your classic business guy. He wants numbers. He wants people to fill the queues. And his complete denial of what the church has done. What Dogma is how it's a contradiction. Because the Bible says one thing, but the church does another. And the movie itself is extremely successful. And I feel like the reason for that is because Carlin's able to play this bad guy who doesn't even know he's the bad guy, because he's the one who's pretty much going, oh, open these gates and you'll be forgiven, you'll go to heaven, which provides the whole plot of the movie. And he even ends up saving them when they use the club against Loki, and they realize this guy, out of all things, he blessed his clubs, because again, he's more of a businessman than he is a clergyman. And I thought it was so clever, and I really identify with the character. Another side note, when Smith wanted to ask Carlin to do this, his wife had just passed away. And he agreed to do it on the one condition that he would play the cardinal and wear a Band-Aid over his wedding ring because he couldn't take it off. And I feel like Carlin's dedication, because he liked Smith's work, and then after that he started working with him more, it was somebody who Smith respected and looked up to in comedy, who also was a symbol of. Smith is still a devout Catholic. He even wants to, after done filmmaking, he said he would want to be a deacon like Cardinal Glick. He would want to make religion cool again. And so for a actual character who is an inspiration for what he wants to do later was played by his inspiration by comedy. It's so cool how things get tied up. And I'll let the next person go.
All right, Ashley, who'd you pick?
All right, I picked Silent Bob, and I had to limit it to one film, which was pretty challenging, but I limited it to the film Chasing Amy. Even though he's only in one scene, he really does make an impact in that one scene. It's just this best Silent Bob speech. Usually he's called Silent Bob for a reason, and usually a quote that is often said in literature circles from Shakespeare, the emptiest vessel makes the loudest sound, or however you translate it from Plato. Like, he's usually paired up with Jay, who talks all the time, and I kind of feel that like Silent Bob doesn't talk because he doesn't ever get the chance, but when he does, it always makes an impact, and it's no better than his speech to Holden in Chasing Amy, when Holden is lamenting about his relationship with Alyssa and how it's gone sour because of his confrontation with her past, and Silent Bob relates the story of a similar situation with the girl Amy, the titular character from where we get the title of the film from, and he, going on and on about how, like, I had this relationship, this is what happened, and then I realized that I was wrong, and Jay kind of tries to give him some flack for it at first, and then you realize, like, Bob is kind of sick of the kind of things that Jay is saying, like, look, dude, you don't even know anything about me, let me talk, and you can kind of see in that performance that it really did inspire Holden to do better and to try to rectify the situation at the end of the movie. And you can also see a lot of subtlety in Kevin Smith's performance as Silent Bob, because he doesn't have a lot of speaking lines. You really have to pay attention to his facial expressions and gestures to see that there is, he's not just sitting there and waiting for his turn, like sitting there like, I'm just going to be like this, oh, now it's my turn to speak. He's doing a lot with his eyes and subtle facial gestures to let you know what the character is thinking. So it's not just about what he says, it's also what he does.
All right. Raul, give us your pick, my friend.
Okay. Okay, my choice for a character in a Kevin Smith movie, I picked Dr. Howard Howe in Tusk. When I saw this movie, I still remember when I watched it on the theater. And I mean, one time Kevin said a lot of people didn't see it, but I say I did. I did see the movie, and also this doctor has an strange obsession with walrus, with walruses, and so I like how this portrayal of his character. He's like a mixture of Hannibal Lecter and like a lot of different assassins, and let's say assassins to be like psychopaths. And so when he sees the opportunity of this podcaster portrayed by Justin Long, and also how he interviews this doctor, and also how this doctor sees that he can see his future warriors in him, and also his obsession to get it right. And also you can feel the madness in his head, like when he's turning him in. And also you can see also Justin Long's horror, like what he's gonna do next when he's already seen him with the big fangs, like he already without arms and everything. You can see the horror of Justin Long, like, and you can feel his madness also, like laughing. Like when he's throwing the fish and everything. Like, oh, you can see how this madman can exist in this world. And also felt very different expecting it from a Kevin Smith movie. So that is my choice.
All right, guys, fight.
Okay, so if I was going to pick Silent Bob, as impactful as that scene is, as you said, he's not really in Chasing Amy. I think, one, in Dogma, his one line, because that becomes the thing, that becomes the Kevin Smith trope. He says one thing each movie, and it's supposed to be enlightening. They even call him out on it in Clerks 2 when he was like, "What? I got nothing." They're like, "What? Every time we get in the situation, we talk to you, and you drop this enlightening bomb." Silent Bob, I think, is even better in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. But the only thing is, as a character, he just kind of goes with it. You know what I mean? Jay's always like, "Well, let's do this," and maybe Silent Bob will be like, "No," or "Okay," but like he doesn't really do anything. He's the audience, and when I'm watching a movie, I shouldn't think, "Oh, my favorite character is me." You know what I mean? He's the audience's viewpoint on everything. When Loki gets hit with the driver in Dogma, he's like, "Oh, she's a demon," because like he's reacting like the audience would. As far as the Doctor from Tusk, I don't know any character's name from that movie. I saw it, but I don't remember the names. The performance was good. But if I'm going to pick best Kevin Smith character, it's going to be someone who I think is something that is a real invention of his, something that where he puts his Catholic background and his problems with the church. He thought Dogma was going to fail. He thought all of his fans from Clerks and stuff were going to think that he went soft. You know what I mean? That he's doing a religious piece. But it actually turned out to be a huge success, and he took that risk, and I felt like no one was better suited to play that role than Carlin.
Ashley or Raul?
I almost picked a character from Dogma as well, but I went with Silent Bob, not just because he's like a favorite character or like a fan insert character, but I thought that was it's kind of like the hard choice because he does have so few lines, or in the case of Chasing Amy, he has such little screen time. It wasn't the question wasn't like what's the best like Kevin Smith movie with Silent Bob in it. I was just trying to pick again, like, okay, if I'm picking this character and I'm limited to one role, like what role has the best impact? Whereas I think in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, he does have a few poignant things to say. I know he has that great speech about the comic book industry at the beginning of the movie that's the catalyst for them to go on their adventure, but I felt comparing that to what he had to say in Chasing Amy had a lot more impact on that story, and it kind of led, again, Holden to...
Well, it dropped the name of the title.
Yeah, it did that.
It was Kevin Smith talking about his own movie to drop the name of his movie. I love Kevin Smith, don't get me wrong. It just seems like out of your picks.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do with as a creator that way. But I felt that Like that was, to me, it was more like there's something more to Silent Bob, because this was his third appearance, in a film. He was in Clerks and in Mallrats, and especially when he tells Jay, like, like what you don't know about me could fill up the Grand Canyon. Yeah, could fill a Grand Canyon. It's like, what is going on with this character? And then he drops that line about, like, don't you know that I wanted to be a dancer in Vegas? And he does kind of a little showgirls-esque move. And so it made me think, like, what is there to this character? Like, what else is going on in his life that, Jay is seemingly his best friend, and he doesn't even know about this Amy, this relationship, and these other goals and dreams he has for himself. So to me, I thought, even though it maybe not, he doesn't have the most screen time in that movie, that character and that speech made me question a lot more about what is there to this character versus things he might have said in Dogma or in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And that's why I chose that role particularly, because I felt that there was, even though it was a short performance, there was some nuance to it, and it made me question what's more to this character that doesn't get to say a lot.
This is the nicest group of fighters I've ever met. No one talks over anyone else.
Yeah, well, I just feel like
it's hard when we're all in different states, except for me
and different rooms. Yeah,
different rooms.
The only
different time zones.
I really like Chasing Amy, but it does bother me that the whole thing that will wrap up this crazy story is literally plot exposition told to you by the writer and director himself. Maybe it's clever, maybe it's too on the nose. I don't know. And Raul, who was your pick again? Oh yeah, the doctor. I just know him because he likes walruses. Like I don't know any other character. Yeah, he's weird. He's creepy. He likes Justin Long in a marine sense. But Cardinals Glick. No actor is going to perform a better role that's truer to their little. I mean, the Carlin roles of Blowjob Hitchhiker versus Cardinal Glick is definitely, I mean, he has that, but I really like Cardinal Glick, and I think he just has all these nuances that represent what he was trying to say about the whole film in general of Dogma. Is that even the people in charge don't know what's going on.
Okay, like the question is okay.
Go ahead, Raul. Sorry.
Okay. Like the question is the best character in a Kevin Smith movie. When I see Tusk, it was a different movie. Like, I don't remember much of Clerks. I don't remember much of about Dogma. I didn't see many Kevin Smith movies when I was growing up, because even though, like I say, I watch an R-rated movies once in a while because it was on cable and I was alone. But almost like 90% of the time, my parents were managing me the things that I see. The only Kevin Smith movies that I see, I think, was only the finale of Dogma. I remember like little pieces of Dogma. When I see Tusk, I was like, I didn't even see the trailer. I just saw Kevin Smith. I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a funny movie, like Clerks or Dogma, and also like Cop Out. And when I enter in, I didn't expect that horror. I didn't expect to be afraid, because like in many horror movies, you don't know who you're gonna meet. You don't know what is the other side of the person that you're gonna meet. Let's say I'm gonna meet like a famous actor, but you don't know that famous actor has like an obsession to killing people, and nobody knows it. So when Justin Long met this person, this doctor, he only knew that this doctor was a fan of his. He didn't know that he had an obsession with walruses. When Justin Long getting transformed into a walrus, you can see all the cadavers of all different people that he already tried to turn into a walrus. And also, this doctor portrays not only an obsession, he also portrays like he wants to get a goal, and he got it. He destroyed a life. And also he get his goal and to transform into a man, into a walrus. His sick goal was to doing that. And like that shows also the horror. Then you need to, a lot of people saying don't judge the book by its cover. But even though Justin Long, as he was interviewing this doctor, he didn't knew about it until he got drugged and then he explained his obsession. That is why also he didn't have like like precaution. He didn't know what he's going to turn in. So Kevin Smith portrayed in that character of the doctor, like every time, like in the horror movies, when you go to a woods, you think like, oh, this nice old lady is gonna let me in and sleep, and you don't know this old lady likes to chop heads or arms or legs. So you always need to have precaution, and also that is why I picked this character specifically, because you didn't think that this doctor was going to do that. Maybe a lot of people, when they saw the trailer, they already knew the doctor and everything. When I see a movie, especially when that one, I didn't know anything about it. So that is why also the character, it really show how different of a typical character on a chemist movie can be. And also, like also as Lee said, it was difficult choosing between all the Silent Bob interactions and characters, because what is the best one? And also, that is why I choose the doctor, because Silent Bob is going to be like an easy one, but she had the difficulty to choose what is the right portrayal of Silent Bob in all the different movies.
So let's do final thoughts.
Okay, so I agree with you. It does sound like the easy answer. It's not. But Brian just left? Sorry.
We lost Brian, but keep going. He'll get back.
Yeah, that's fine. I got distracted. It's Silent Bob. If it's going to be a character who should represent the ideas and motives and inspirations of a director, I mean, if you had said maybe this is a depiction of what Kevin Smith is willing to do to get back in the Hollywood game, or if you gave me something like that. But I just see him as a horror doctor. Like, he wrote a doctor who's supposed to be creepy and scary, and he was successful. Silent Bob, he was the writer and director commenting on his own movie. Like, Cardinal Glick is in essence an idea of what's wrong with his faith, but why he still loves his faith. He's not gonna put Garland in a role that because he respects the man. He's not gonna put him in a role that's gonna be a hated role. He's not the bad guy, but he's the reason things are falling apart, and he can't admit he made the mistake of doing it.
No one puts Carlin in a corner.
You can't.
Ashley, got anything? Last words?
I think it's been a while since I've looked this up, but I want to say that, like, I know in Clerks, I don't think Kevin Smith was originally supposed to play the role of Silent Bob, but I think it kind of transformed to something bigger once more of those characters became popular. And again, it's kind of the hard choice. It's kind of, like the director gets to comment on the story, but I still don't think that detracts from the performance, especially in that particular movie. Cardinal Glick also is a very good character, but you could say that, it's been a while since I've seen Dogma. I saw it a lot when I was in college. It's been a few years since that time. He is kind of integral to the story, but as far as other characters in that movie, like Matt Damon or Ben Affleck also had really good roles as the two angels in that movie, so I'm not sure if I wouldn't have gone with Carlin as my first choice.
Those angels have no reason to try anything without Carlin. Carlin is their opening to get back into heaven.
Yeah, and the character that I would have chosen from that movie was probably Chris Rock's character, the 13th Apostle, Rufus, that was left out of the Bible because of his race. That was the one that I thought of first from that movie, and not so much Cardinal Glick. Again, it's been a while since I've seen that movie, and Raul, sorry, I've never seen Tusk, so I don't really have anything to say about that movie based off that character, because I've never seen that portrayal. It's one of the Kevin Smith movies that I forgot existed, so I probably need to go check that out, correct that for my own viewing experience.
You might not have to do that, really.
Okay, but because I really love Kevin Smith. When I was in college, I put his characters in my own student film, which will never go online because I don't want to get sued by one of my favorite people. So, Jay and Silent Bob make an appearance in our student film. So, anyway, that's off topic.
Raul, do you have any final
Halloween
words?
and Jay and Silent Bob also.
Yes, my final thoughts, like Michael Parks, this one that portrayed this villain, that is the evil doctor in Tusk. His name is Howard Howe. Like also, like against Tom, he maybe have choose better characters that stand out in Dogma, like Ben Affleck or Matt Damon or Alan Rickman or Salma Hayek. Those are the characters that really stand out more in the movie in Dogma.
But it's not. It's the characters are representation of what's wrong with what the movie is representation. It's all. Those other characters are great, but without Cardinal Glick in there to give them all purpose, and without him saying what he has, there's a line where they're like, "Oh, what you've never." He's like, "Oh, we don't make mistakes." Blah blah blah, and he's like, "You didn't make a mistake. What about your stance towards slavery? What about the Holocaust?" He's like, "Okay, some mistakes were made." You know what I mean? Like, he's what's wrong with why he's making the movie Dogma in the first place. Tusk, yeah, you have to have a creepy doctor to put the tusks in the guy.
All right.
I know.
Go ahead, Raul. I'll give you one more thought.
My final thought. I also chose the doctor because in recent horror. Oh, sorry. Because in recent horror movies, really recently, I just hated with the villain, let's say a demon, a ghost, or the assassin. He doesn't get his victory. In all horror movies, Jason kills everyone, or he gets resurrected and everything. And when I saw this movie in Tusk, the villain won. He got what he wanted. He get to make a walrus of a human.
So did Victor Frankenstein.
And also Victor Frankenstein, I'm saying recently, in recent horror movies.
Right.
That's why I'm saying it. So that is why I chose him.
All right. Woo, Brian. I know you just got back. What have we seen on Twitter? Any facts to check on this one?
No, we got some good suggestions. Axel Yarv, he said Randall, which was my personal pick. I would have said Randall as well. Langley M. Neely, he mentioned Hooper X, also from Chasing Amy. Great character. Great.
That was my second.
Not a conventional Kevin Smith character, stands out a little
Very
bit.
good character.
All right. Whew. Well, this is the final round. I want to thank everybody who's been watching along with us at home. This is our first run, which is why we're an hour and 45 minutes in. Thank God the lightning round is coming up next. But let me pick someone for this final round. The problem with Carlin, and I think everybody pointed it out, is there's more interesting characters in Dogma. And while Carlin's character was integral to why the story happened, I didn't hear enough about why George Carlin playing that character made him significantly
that
better
wasn't
than
the
the other
question,
choices.
though. I was explaining why he was the best character, not why he was the best character portrayed by an actor.
Well, no. So, but I think in your case, they did point out that there are more interesting characters in that particular film. So for me, it's between Ashley and Raul. Raul, the biggest problem I had with your argument is that I didn't hear enough about how his motivations and what about him as a character made him more interesting. I think we got a lot about how genre changing he was, and that he was a villain that succeeded. But I didn't think we heard enough about the Walrus. I think his motivations for the Walrus, why he wanted to transform other people. I think that was the key to that character. And Ashley did the most work as far as convincing me that her character's influence in that movie was the most significant. The speech that he makes at the table in the diner is significant to the plot. It's significant to his character. It actually grows his character from what we've seen in two previous movies. So in this one, I went with Ashley, and Ashley gets the final point. And that means we have a tie. Ashley, you have 3 points.
Jack.
Yes, sir.
Can you give me 30 seconds to go to the restroom?
Oh, yes, I can. Absolutely.
Okay.
Please excuse us. We did go for an hour and 45 minutes, so
It's quite long. That's longer than any class I've had to teach.
Yes. You won't normally see potty breaks in this kind of show, but we did go long. So we're going to do a tiebreaker here when Raul gets back, and we will determine who goes on to the final lightning round, which we will blow through at the speed of lightning.
Yes.
Anybody else saying anything interesting on Twitter, Brian?
Oh, let me take a quick peek here.
Are they enjoying it? Are they having a good time?
Oh yeah, lots of people that I'm sure
Okay,
we're all following each other on Twitter have been making lots of comments. That everybody's getting really into it. They're really enjoying it.
That's
Some
awesome.
people have been mentioning the length of the show, but we told them, it's practice. Brevity will come later. Thank you, Ron Netflix.
It's our first show. We
Yeah.
promise not to keep making them this long. All right,
Of
so
course.
Try to
tiebreaker.
tighten it up as day goes along, as the days
Yes.
go by.
All right, so the tiebreaker is real easy. No one has heard of the tiebreaker before. I'm introducing it now. It's called Tiebreaker Trivia. I'm going to give you a movie. You're going to tell me the year it was released. The closest without going over Price is Right rules will move forward to the lightning round.
The closest without
Okay.
going over?
Yes, closest without
Okay.
going over. So you have about 10 seconds to answer. There's no looking it up on the internet.
Okay.
First person, if you say the same year, you get it
Yeah,
in
show
first.
hands.
Yeah. If you say the answer first and you both have the same answer, the person who says it first will go forward. Ready?
Okay.
Here we go. Closest without going over. What year was the Flintstones released?
1995.
1995.
Okay, I heard Tom starting it first. Raul, you both said the same year, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you this, you guys have both gone over, but since Tom, you said it first, I will give you it. It's 1994. So Tom, you will go to the next round because I don't have another movie prepared.
Aw.
But I will do that for the next time. But Tom, I'm going to let you go through. You said it first. So
right.
we have Ashley and Tom in the lightning round. Raul, great job today.
It's going to be
Well
tough.
fought,
Tom's
sir.
a good opponent, so I would be nervous either way. But he's been
And
really
looking
kind
at
of
my
like.
past fights, I'm not that good.
Yeah, you've been poking a lot of holes in my argument, so I was like, oh man, I didn't think of that. Why didn't I think of that? Oh no. So yeah, this is gonna be hard.
Here's how the lightning round works. I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to have whoever says it first gets to keep that answer. If you say the same answer, the other person has to choose a different one. You have about 30 seconds to answer. If you can't come up with an answer in 30 seconds, the person who did will come up with the point. You will argue for about 25 seconds apiece and then have 10 seconds to rebut the other person's answer, and then we will choose a winner. Raul, hang in here because I'm going to have you help us out. Same thing with Brian. I might go to you if I can't pick a winner. And let's hit the lightning round. Make some music in your head because we don't have any. Lightning round number one. Who is the best movie Batman?
Ben Affleck.
Michael Keaton.
All right. I hear Ben Affleck from Tom and Keaton. Oh, by the way, one last point. We reset the scores for the lightning round. So Tom, it's best 3 out of 5. You are tied with Ashley going into this round, and all the scores are reset.
Okay.
So Affleck, Tom, you have 25 seconds. Go.
All right, Ben Affleck was pretty much the only good reason to watch Batman vs. Superman. All of the fighting as Batman was done very well, pre-traditional to Arkham Knight, and his Bruce Wayne has been one of the best we have seen in film.
Okay.
Is there more time?
You got time.
No, that's fine. I gave you extra time in case you need it. So why don't we go to Ashley? Go ahead.
All right, Ben Affleck is a good Batman in Batman v Superman, but Michael Keaton is the one that has really kind of set the tone of what a good Batman should be. He started us off in the '89 Batman film. That's more than just a Joker's origin story. It's where we get to see him really kind of do things that they were afraid to do in other Batman movies, like kill people, for instance. He's the one that set the tone, the look of the costume. Sure, he couldn't.
Time.
All right.
Right?
Rebuttal from Tom. Yep, you get a rebuttal.
To be fair, it was Tim Burton who set the tone of Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne, as my girlfriend would say, looks like he buys his jeans at Walmart.
All right, Ashley.
Time.
Costumes aside, his character, his portrayal of both Batman and Bruce Wayne is what kind of set the audience's expectations from years to come, and it was not.
Time.
All right. Woo,
hard.
all right. I think I know who I'm picking, but let me find out what you guys think. Brian, who would you pick in that round?
I think I'm probably going to have to go with Tom. You know, he brought up the fighting style, even though I personally am not sure yet how I feel about the Affleck Batman overall in the Pantheon. I'm going to step up based on the arguments. I'm going to give it to Tom.
All right, Raul, who are you taking?
For me, based on the arguments, I'm gonna give it to Ashley because Ashley said that Michael Keaton, he needed to start off the portrayal of all the actors that follow him.
Adam West.
Batman needs to get dark, and also Michael Keaton had also the responsibility to forget Adam West and his quirkiness and his funniness and his 60s thing. So that's why I chose Ashley.
All right, and I too am choosing Ashley for many similar reasons. She did I think it is a little too early on the to pick Affleck, and he did have a bigger influence on Keaton had a bigger influence on all of the roles that followed him. So I'm going to give the point to Ashley. Ashley has the first point.
I'm totally surprised by that. I thought Tom had a really good argument.
I like Tom's argument, though. Yeah, it's very close, believe me. All right, lightning round number 2. Who would you rather be stuck in an elevator with, Jay or Silent Bob?
Silent Bob.
Jay.
All right. So, Tom, you're going to get Silent Bob, and Ashley, you have Jay. And 20 seconds on the clock. We're going to do 20 seconds. You guys can handle that. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, if I'm stuck in an elevator with Silent Bob, I'm going to have time to think, try to figure my way out, and if I can't figure out a way out, as Ashley said, Silent Bob will reveal the knowledge through the one time he talks in the elevator.
All right. Ashley?
All right, if you're going to be stuck in an elevator with someone, you don't know how long it's going to be. I'm going to trust the people that run the company to know how to get us out, but I want to be entertained if I'm going to be stuck somewhere, and Jay will provide so much entertainment. He's going to say a bunch of crazy stuff, and I'm just going to get to be able to sit back and go, oh my God, what is this? Who is this person? What is he even doing? This is going to be a great story to tell.
I'll tell you right now, if you're stuck in an elevator with Jay, you better explain you're a married woman, because that is all he's interested in. He's going to take the pretty lady in an elevator, he's going to take advantage of that. And you're going to have to hear about it for 12 hours.
Well,
Snoochie Boochie.
Well, hopefully we wouldn't be stuck for that long, and I think I could be able to, with my karate skills from a long time ago, be able to protect myself from any advances. I was stuck with Silent Bob. You know, I'm going to be talking, he's going to be quiet.
All right. Raul, what are you thinking?
I like that Tom said that maybe Jay is gonna take advantage of Ashley, and so
he's gonna try. He's gonna try. I don't think he's gonna get there.
And so I would pick Tom in that one.
How about you, Brian?
Yeah, I was waiting for Tom to say something about how entertainment might only last about 5 minutes, then Jay might get kind of annoying after that.
I didn't get there.
He didn't hit that up. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Ashley.
Oh, so we're getting another split decision. This time, though, I am going with Tom. I think that that really nailed it. The fact that he's Jay in the elevator, he's not going to be someone you want to spend a really long time with. Plus, I think the fumes might get to you eventually in the elevator, and he'll start the fire in the first place. So I'm giving the point to Tom. So we are tied again at 1-1. Good job.
All right.
Lightning round number 3. These two movies are playing on cable. Which do you watch? Star Wars A New Hope or Star Wars The Force Awakens?
Star Wars A New Hope.
Force Awakens.
All right. Some people say it's the same movie. We're about to find out. New Hope goes first. That was Tom,
that was
right?
me. So if I'm watching on something on TV, I don't have cable, but usually if I do have a movie on cable, it's because I'm trying to get something done in the house. I'm trying to clean something up. A New Hope I'm familiar with, and I know well enough by heart that I can have it on and enjoy it. A Force Awakens, it's going to distract me the entire time I'm trying to clean my house.
All right, Ashley.
All right, again, if I'm watching something on cable, it's usually I'm not paying too much attention to it. I've seen The Force Awakens several times now that it's come on video, so I feel that it would be in a similar vein to A New Hope, where I could, have it on the background, enjoy the parts I want to watch, and plus it's newer. I would be more interested to see what little things I can catch in it versus.
I would rather clean to the score of A New Hope than clean to the score of A Force Awakens. And that's why I'm watching something on cable.
Ashley.
if I happen to catch it on cable again, I would be also interested to see, okay, they always are really bad about cutting these movies. Where are they going to make the cuts? Are they going to add any deleted scenes? And since I haven't ever seen that on cable, I've seen the other one on cable tons of times.
Whew. Wow, this one is really tough. Guys, what did you think, Brian?
I think I'm going to have to go with Tom because Ashley kind of almost had the same argument as him, and, you know, I got to give it to him. He made it first.
How about you, Raul?
I didn't like one thing that Tom said, that I would like to hear the score while I'm cleaning. Seeing A New Hope is when you get seated with popcorn or eating, seeing it. When he said, like, seeing it on the background. So that is why I choose Ashley.
So we have yet another tie I have to break. Thank you for making it so easy for me. I'm going to pick Tom because you did both have virtually the same argument. Ashley, I was leaning towards you with the I want to pick up new things, but it kind of went against the whole, like, but I don't want to watch it because I know the movie. But the score is actually the thing for me that switched it. You can hear the score in the background, and I think that makes it a better, like, background movie. So I'm giving that point to Tom, and he is leading 2-1. Well done. All right, lightning round number 4. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to give you a person's name. You're going to tell me Hollywood's best. Ready? Hollywood's best. Kate.
Kate Hudson.
Kate Winslet.
All right.
Did you hear that, Kate Winslet? Okay.
I did. Yes, I was writing it down. I'm sorry. Okay, so Tom, you're going to start with Hudson whenever you're ready.
Kate Hudson was probably my dream girl growing up. I believe she was in Almost Famous, correct?
She was.
That was literally my anthem growing up. She is an amazing actress who can show off both whimsy and tragedy. I don't know how much time I have.
All right. Well, then we'll switch to Winslet for Ashley.
All right, Kate Winslet is an Oscar-winning actress. She's been in a lot of really good movies, not just Titanic, but she was in Finding Neverland. She's been in probably a lot more critically acclaimed movies than Kate Hudson has been in. She's very classy, and she always does a good job in the movies that she is in.
Time.
All right. 5-second rebuttal for Hudson, or 10, whatever.
Hudson's acting, it goes through a lot of different layers. She's done a lot of different kind of projects. Winslet's characters always feel like they're doing the romantic thing.
Ashley?
Kate Hudson's characters are also kind of very repetitive to me. It's always like the quirky, she hasn't have her stuff together kind of role in a lot of those romantic comedy movies. I think she's done that a little more than some of the more nuanced performances.
In the interest of time, I think we can all agree that Ashley kicked it on Winslet and sent Hudson to the curb. I'm going with Ashley on that. All right, so that means we're
tied.
Who'd you pick? Is it a tie again for you, Raul?
No, I go with
had
Ashley.
Tom that time.
Okay, good. We all picked Ashley. So
no, he picked Tom.
Oh, did he? That's all right. I still picked Ashley. All right, so we're going to the final question. This will determine the winner. Lightning round 5. Excluding sequel numbers, what is the best movie with the word "for" in the title? It can be either spelling of the word "for." You have 30 seconds.
4 Rooms.
4 Rooms.
Oh, God. Now my mind has gone totally blank. I'm going to lose.
Don't lose it because you went blank. The number or the word "for"?
The number or the word. I am number 4.
I am number 4. This should be interesting. Number 4. All right. We're in the final round. Tom, you're fighting for 4 rooms whenever you're ready.
I feel like I Am Number 4 is the reason why we have all these Divergent / Catching Fire / crazy movies. It's just a bunch of hot like teen heartthrobs, with one of them has a secret dark past and powers. It's just the same thing of the old thing. Four Rooms is an innovative look at characters at different scenarios throughout this hotel.
Time.
What's his name?
All right.
Okay.
Ashley, go ahead. Sorry.
Four Rooms is kind of a big mess of a movie. It's one of Madonna's worst portrayals in a film in her vignette. I am number 4. It is kind of going along with the young adult trope, but it's not the one that started it. It's just trying to cash in on it. At least it's makes a lot more sense as a movie than Four Rooms, which is just everywhere. And again, one of the worst Madonna performances ever.
All right, rebuttal.
The question is, it's a movie that also has 4 directors because it's 4 short films put together. Technically, it may have started Tarantino's and Rodriguez's relationship together.
Time. All right.
Again,
and Ashley.
Again, 4 directors, 4 styles, but it doesn't really work together. Whereas in my movie, at least it has a cohesive, somewhat plot versus the
that
one
I can
that
sleep
you have.
during.
But you usually don't want to sleep during the movie.
Turn.
You want to watch it.
I slept twice in Godzilla.
All right, I'll give you a few more seconds, Ashley, if you had anything else you needed to say, since he talked over you.
Again, it's a cohesive story versus the other one where it's okay, maybe you can enjoy one of the vignettes. At least with my movie, it's it has a through line.
Time. Okay. Woo! All right, Brian, what do you got?
Oh, I think I'm going to go with Tom because I think Ashley did herself a disservice by pointing out that it's really just a cash grab. It's true, it's not the original. It didn't start anything. It's just trying to come in and grab a little money out of teen girls' pockets. And so I think I'm going to have to. I think she hurt herself there. I'm going to give it to Tom.
All right, Raul.
The thing that Ashley said that the 4 different directors, you can also be mixed of the different styles. It cannot be cohesive. And also another thing that Ashley said, I Am Number 4 was before Twilight. Twilight was the one that started all the adult novel adaptations. Jumper and I Am Number 4 were one of the first ones. They didn't get a lot of hype, but Twilight was the one that started it all. That was Twilight, Hunger Games, Maze Runner, and Divergent. So
I still put I Am Number 4 in the same category as Twilight.
You're going with Ashley then?
Yes.
So we are split once again for the final round, and I am left to making the decision. And I think it will be a surprise when I say that Tom gave me more about his movie 4 Rooms and actually what the film was about than Ashley did. I know that Ashley's movie is in the same category as a version, but I still don't know anything about. You didn't tell me anything about the movie itself. I don't know a thing about it from listening to your argument. So Tom gets the final point. And
Which
with
is totally
that,
fair.
Tom gets the victory of the very first fan friction.
Woo!
Nicely done. Woo!
Good
Oh,
job.
wow.
Great
Well
fights,
done.
everybody. That was amazing.
That was so
That
intense.
was fun.
Yeah, all of you guys did great. Oh my god.
That was so
That
good.
was
I've
fun.
never seen I Am Number 4, so that's why I didn't say anything specific.
Oh.
Because that's the first thing that came to my mind, and it's oh my god, I don't know any movies. I've heard.
Yeah.
I think that's a real movie.
Guys,
It's
a little
a real
behind the
movie.
scenes action. I told Jack I thought that question was too hard. I was we had to edit it a little bit because it started out just as the word 4, not even the number. And it was brutal. I could come up with 2
The
movies.
first thing I thought in my
hard.
mind was For Whom the Bell Tolls. I'm I don't think that's a movie. I think that's just a line from a
From
poem.
a movie.
That doesn't
That's
count.
from a Metallica song, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to take a
okay.
moment to thank all you guys for showing up today for the first fan friction. Tell everybody where you can be found. Ashley?
You can find me on Twitter at Mrs. Davis _ DPHS. That's my Twitter handle. I tweet a lot of random movie things or live tweet movies that I think I could use in class, and I try to make up questions for them that I think will be cool for the kids.
Awesome. How about you, Raul? Where can we find you? Raul, are you there?
You can find me also on Twitter, tweeting on some live shows on the internet. My Twitter handle is Raul Vader RDC, Raul Rodriguez Vader. You can find me there on Twitter.
Wonderful. And Tom, where can we find you?
Just Google me. I'm sure I'll come up somewhere. No, but on Twitter, you can write to me if you want at I am Tom Riddler. I will be around. I'll see you guys on that thing we don't talk about.
Exactly. And Brian, where can we find you, sir?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at Hurstcules. And, you know, around. I'm just around. In my sweet chair. Thank you to Miss Movies for complimenting my chair. I'm all Civil War'd out today.
I know. I try to compete. I don't have as good as a chair.
No, I just had movies.
Yeah, I don't have a cool chair either. I have cool things back there though.
Again, behind the scenes info, I've fought for years with my wife. I wanted to throw this chair away, and she's kept it. It's her grandparents, and now look. So I give her credit. She was right. I'm glad we kept this chair.
Yeah, now it's pretty epic. Not for anything. And you can find me, Jack Shipley, at JRSPipboy2008 on Twitter. And if you're interested in being a fighter on Fan Friction, you can find the information where to contact us in the description below. Send an email to us at, I believe it's TUFF, the official fanfights at gmail.com. So please send us your emails if you're interested in getting in, and we will let you know when we're going to do our next show. In fact, I do know when we're doing our next show, and hopefully it will be shorter than this one. Next Sunday, April 17th, we will be doing our second Fan Friction, same time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, where our fighters will be Amy Awesome. Who else is coming next week? Brian, you're fighting next week. You're leaving the chair behind, correct?
Oh, I'll still be in this chair, but I will be out of the chair.
You're leaving Twitter behind.
This will no longer be the checkered chair. This will be the winner chair.
And Ashley, your husband Joseph will be taking a shot at the title to see if
so he will be in this place. And who's fact checking that episode?
That episode, I forget who's checking that episode. We will find out next week when our surprise. We're randomly fact checking, because it can't be you, Ashley, because you're biased.
No, I would not be biased at all. All his arguments are he lied about all of his movies. What are you talking about?
So thank you again to everyone who stuck out with us to watch the entire fight. We really do appreciate it, and we will hopefully see everyone here next week. So stay tuned to this channel and subscribe, and don't forget to check out the Screen Junkies channel where the inspiration for all of the fights you saw today came from. Their information is also in the description below. So thank you, everybody, and we will hopefully see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks
Good
for
fight,
watching.
everybody. Nice job.
Really great fight, guys.
Congrats to Tom again.